there, Marina here. Today I wanted to cover something that's been coming up both for myself and with some clients that I've seen over the past few weeks. Something that came to mind that I just wanted to share. Tapping. I want to talk about tapping. I remember years ago I had this belief that if I were to tap on things from my past history, my past relationships, that I could save the current relationship that I was in. I really believed that, the big ideal was that no matter who I chose to be with, that as I worked on my own issues and I took responsibility for my own triggers and my own past, and not looking as a codependent to the other person to fill me up, fill my cup, love me in the ways that I don't love myself, etc. That somehow when I took all that responsibility and really tapped on my history, my memories, my triggers, every emotional upheaval that was going on, that the relationship would be solved, it would be fixed, it would become harmonious and beautiful. And more, I've seen a few clients now lately, and then in the past, and also just learning for myself that tapping or other modalities that really let you come to the present moment, really help you see beliefs for what they are, seeing through them, gaining a bigger perspective, things like that. What they do, what they really help you do is come more to your truth. And what I mean by truth is changing all the time. Every moment truth can change, but your truth in the moment, or your kind of accumulated truth of life, that if you are in a relationship that's not compatible, that it's not serving you, it's not meeting your needs, as you work through the turmoil and the triggers and everything in them, you may still not end up with that person. And it's not because they're bad or you're bad, it's that there could be two theories on this. One is that perhaps the relationship served its purpose of bringing yourself back through your triggers, in triggering you back to love, triggering you back to your own truth. So in a situation where there is some kind of a pressure and you've been accommodating all the time, and you've always been very peaceful and avoiding conflict and really trying to always be appeasing and good in a relationship, as you start to work through some things and you start to stand up for yourself, you just get stronger, what you may find that there's actually more conflict that happens because you start to push back, you start to speak up for yourself, you start to stand up for what feels right and doesn't feel right. And so sometimes, even though you're trying to solve and save a relationship, what you end up doing is coming more and more to a truthful, more authentic way of being, and that may end the relationship. It doesn't mean it has to. I think a lot of communication, a lot of both parties taking responsibility, and also a mutual goal if they really want to. Do they want to work through and want to see themselves together in the future? Then they work toward a mutual goal. But I do see some struggle, and I just look back at myself as well in my relationships, that as I really took charge or took responsibility really of my own, understanding that they're just triggering in me something that is in me, that initially I might want to point my finger at them that, they're bad, they should be giving me this, or they shouldn't say that. But initially, that's initially what we see. But as I would dig deeper and come to terms with, no, this comes from my past, whether it's my childhood, my school time, or family, or something, that it's just bringing up in me feelings that I already know, that I've avoided, but here I am settling into a relationship, and then it starts to show me those patterns, those feelings again, things that I've just avoided or didn't even know were a part of me, and the relationship beautifully triggered it in me so I can become aware. So in a way, that is my kind of theory, that we come together, we connect beautifully. Romantic relationship is such a mirror and a beautiful projection for us. And of course the dream is that we grow together, we're beautifully connected, and constantly our authentic, honest communication with each other ideally brings us closer and closer together. But sometimes as we look at our own triggers, our emotions, it might actually make us realize that the relationship is no longer serving how it did, that it served its purpose. Again, that could be a theory or a belief as well. It's just been a historical kind of pattern in my life, and it's not just with romantic relationships, sometimes it's with friendships too, and also the changing nature of a relationship with family. We can all relate to that, I'm sure. You know, teenage years versus 20s, 30s, it changes anyway, whether you're really going toward and looking within at yourself or not. The relationships that you have over a lifetime change, or you might disconnect for a while and then come back, and it's just has a new flavor. Blessed are these relationships, really, that are through our whole lifetimes, because we were born into them, and ideally we make them work for us with the least amount of suffering and the most amount of love for ourselves and for others. So I just wanted to share that tapping and other methods that really help you come back to yourself and your own truth and your own nature and your own desires and needs, and it gets you more clear. It could come to the end of an era, and there's suffering with that too, but the suffering tends to happen when we really cling on to the idea of what that relationship should have been resolved to, how it should be fixed, versus going with the flow and really trusting that perhaps the end of that relationship makes room for something even more closer to the intimacy we're looking for, the harmony, the companionship, and mutual goals. Ideally, we stay in close partnership, romantic relationship with loved ones that we have a lot of fun with and more ease with than conflict. Life is so short. Although I like to say life is so long. Life is too long to suffer for so long. And how beautiful that all our relationships can help us gain that new relationship with ourselves. Deeper. Each relationship connects you deeper and deeper to yourself, gets you clearer about what you like and what you don't like, and also about how you shoulded yourself, that you should be able to just get along with everyone. I've certainly been guilty of that, and idealizing that even I think Byron Katie said something like you could pick any bum off the street and live happily ever after with them, because essentially you're having a relationship with your thoughts about them and not really them. I love that idea. I think it's very romantic and beautiful, but we are human beings with preferences, and I think a lot of spiritual teachings and paths that people go on, there's this big layer of judgment about those preferences that come along, and to start to really be okay with your preferences as well, that's part of your humanness, that there's certain features and certain traits that you like or don't like, just the same way as with foods and other activities in your life. So yeah, relationships and trying to fix them. Often people come to this kind of work to try to resolve some conflict, and sometimes it helps you resolve the conflict within yourself, and you get stronger and clearer about what is loving you more, whether it's staying and really working it out, continually owning your part as best you can, or is it actually easier and lighter to move on? No one can really tell you that but you. I'm just noticing that there is a pattern there that happens with clients, and it's happened in my life as well, that the clarity brings you closer to a resolution, and it may not be the resolution that you originally were idealizing to happen. Thanks so much. Just felt like sharing today. Hope you have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.